There are 6 signs that a man really loves you. The real man. Have you ever thought about whether a man really loves you, not just in words, his heart, his soul, and the way he goes through life? We live in a where people often mix up love with grand love feelings that don't last, body language, or whispered intense words when it was hot, the for now. But let's be honest, words are simple. Love fades and moves. Sure, anyone can buy flowers, but real, I love the kind that's not the same thing as unshakable. There's more to that, and if you want to find out if a guy really loves you, I need to stop hearing what he says and pay attention to what he does. You may be asking why. What does an old theory called Stoicism mean? Have to do with love these days? In any case, Saint Wisdom isn't about hiding, having feelings, or becoming emotionless rock that anyone can see. Wrong idea. Instead, Stoicism teaches controlling your feelings and being strict about strong urges and a strong dedication to virtue. One who follows the Stoic way of life doesn't love. Without any thought, he doesn't like you just because of a feeling or spark. He is instead put to the test in his love, and based on something much bigger than short time. In ancient Rome, the Stoics were a popular group. Marcus Aurelius and other great ideas, Seneca and Epicus, thought that love wasn't about getting lost in. It was about strength, knowledge, and the character, and, let's be honest, the world of breadcrumbs that disappear and short term. We need some of that when it comes to relationships. Wise, how can you tell if a man really loves you, not just now, not just when things are simple, but the answer is always found in 6 unmovable. There are 6 rules of silent love that keep a man who loves deeply away from one who is just going through your "I'm going to break your life" in this video. Write down these 6 clear signs of a true love for a man based on tough. You will learn why real love isn't not about feelings, but about things a man does. You'll understand why he's being able to keep going when things get tough is one of the best signs of love, and the most important thing by the end of this video, that you'll be able to understand if the guy you're dating really loves you, or if he's just in love. And let me make this clear, isn't about finding the right man, because there is no such thing as perfection. What a man who really loves you says, the Stoic way of life will show it in. No words could ever describe it. So if are you ready to see love through the eyes of stick to your guns and never give up? Not what you really deserve. Let's get began. Sign 1. He picks virtue over. Sign 1. He picks virtue over lust. Heart. Think about this for a second. The reason why so many relationships end, they're only made of fire, the kind something that starts with a strong spark, a rush of feelings and a sense that this is only for it to go away just as quickly. We've all seen it. Maybe you have too, even went through it. Love yourself the way that feels at first, but it makes you unstable, unpredictable and full of. But a man who loves you deeply, based on Stoic wisdom, does not love based on short term. He doesn't let anger take over his feelings. He picks honor over him instead, urge every single time. What does that mean? Socrates says that the highest virtue is, if something is good, it means living wisely, bravery and self. Follow these rules. When a man loves you from a place of honor, not just desire, love is strong, stable, and deep. One of the best intended Seneca Stoics said it this way: love that is truly there isn't about losing you, but about getting better with someone, a man who is only driven by. At first, there may be a lot of passion. He might give you lots of sweet words and vows, but if he really loves her, he won't just be filled with the feeling of love, that he will be honest in the name of I love. How this works out in real life. Case study. Let's say you're seeing a man who is very interested in you. He tells you over and over that he loves you at first, but over time you see that he lacks. When he's happy, he breaks all of his rules over you, but when he's mad, he lashes. Find out maybe he gets angry easily. He lets his feelings get the best of him, moves made on the spot that hurt the difference between that and a man. People who are silent love a man who sees love as something to take care of. He doesn't let temporary eat that. How he treats you even depends on how he feels. Whenever he's mad, even if things get tough, he stays. This type of man won't let you go. Short-term temptation, anger, or fear. He should not be judged. He stays true to her not because he has to, but because integrity is more important to him than short-term pleasure. How to know he doesn't get swept away by it. That he feels deeply, but never lets those feelings guide what he does. 2. He is self-disciplined when he is in love. He stays loyal, honest, and true. Not because he feels like it, but because he makes that choice every time. On the third day, he doesn't chase his interest no matter what it costs. He won't let does his love for you make him careless. 4 selfish things he thinks. He's not just in love with he loves her and feels love for her. Idea of making something important with you. In the end, a man who picks honor over excitement and loves you in a way that he's not led by the short-term moody highs, but by the unwavering. He wants to be the best man he can be for you, and that's the love that lasts. Sign 2, he leads. Sign 2, he leads with reason, not just feelings. With no good reason. Love is a feeling that can blind you. To act based on feelings not making sense, to let fear, worry, or when jealousy drives people to act. But the wisest man, a man who really loves, don't just act on how you feel. He keeps feelings in check. With Stoics, think that feelings are the cause of, while natural should never be in charge of a person. Epicurus, who was also a great Stoic thinker, said it's not about what happens to, it's how you do something about it. That a man who really loves you is important, does not respond on the spot. He doesn't let his anger turn into meanness, and jealousy into power, or worry turns into emotional. He thinks about what he's going to do before he does it, making sure that his love for you is measured on purpose, and it makes sense why mental health is putting everything in love. Think about the most powerful, the connections you've saw, the ones that don't just make it, but thrive over time. Are they full, with constant fights and emotional deception, or big changes in mood likely? Not. Instead, they're built to be safe and steady. 2 ways. Look up to a man who leads with reason, doesn't just keep up with his feelings. He is in charge of his wherever they take him, responses to what he said and did, especially during times of stress. For history of the Stoics, Marcus Aurelius was one of the most, was a man of great respect and stoicism, huge power, but even though they ruled over Rome, he stayed fair, wise, and level-headed. He didn't let pride get angry, even when he was, or anger decide his. Instead, he used logic to make choices. Wisdom. Now picture, if more men went about love the same way, instead of acting on impulse, they stopped instead of lash out in their debates. They replied with kindness and clarity instead of making up their minds. For fear or lack of safety, they made choices based on reason and principle. What this means in modern times. Don't be afraid to love a man who really loves you. When he's angry, say things he'll later regret. Doesn't go away when things get hard. He doesn't let doubt or fear get in the way. Something real instead. He stays calm, often open and thoughtful that really matter. Picture this. A man was in the middle of a fight, when just because he feels bad, might raise his voice, say mean things, or storm. Find a man who can lead with reason. Step forward, take a deep breath, and listen. What was going on with clarity instead of chaos? The one who lets his feelings rule him, but the other, how he feels, and that makes all the difference in how to spot it. One, he doesn't make fuss out of nothing. He doesn't fight over little things, or let his feelings lead him to do bad things. The second behavior he talks to. Truth, not just feelings, when he's mad. He doesn't blow up. He says what he wants to say. With respect up to, he does not act on impulse. He thinks about each choice he makes. Effects of what he did, especially when it comes to your 4 relationships. He stays calm in tough. Whether it's a fight or some other an important event in his life or a tough time, he doesn't freak out and stays steady, the bottom line. A man who really loves you more than just liking you when he's calm and things are easy for him. Steady and sensible even when the feelings run high, because love wins in the end isn't just about having strong feelings, about being smart, and a man who can combine passion and reason, is a man whose love is strong enough to last. Sign 3. Sign 3. He cares for and protects without any pride. He takes care of and guards without ego. A man loves you for more than just the what he says or how he looks at. It's about how he acts when you need him. But let's be clear about when we talk about how a man can protect. And as long as we're not just talking about helping with money or being strong physically, a man's defense goes far beyond that. A stern man gives safety in all areas, mental, social, and physical health, without wanting to be noticed or proof of what real safety looks like people often do these days. Connect protecting with being too much, or a calm man doesn't need to be controlled. Protect to keep him in charge. He protects to help him show his love, isn't about. When it comes to possessiveness, being with the great Stoic teacher Epicurus once said, "Tell me not what your philosophy," or to put it another way, a man who loves you doesn't just he naturally tried to keep you safe. Does it by what he does when life gets too much. He's the steady being there for you that keeps you grounded when if you're having trouble, he can help. Not when things go wrong, but he doesn't. He steps up and takes care of it like a man. Someone who loves you will look out for you, from needless worry caused by harmful times, and sometimes even from your own fears and doubts. And all of this he does without. Stoic was asked to give an example of applause. Cato's quiet power in history. A well-known Roman Stoic was a man of not shaking. The idea he didn't fight for, he was self-aware and didn't look for praise. Done the right thing even when it was hard for a modern calm man to follow with the same idea. He won't have to show that he loves you if he does. He will prove it with big claims. It by being there for you through life's storms. What does this mean for a relationship? Let's say you've been having a rough time. Today is the most stressful day of your life, and it all seems too much for you. He might listen, nod, and say, "That stinks," but a tough guy will listen, embrace how you feel, and then say, "Let's work this out together then." Won't just wait for you. During a fight, he'll consciously try to make his life better, not because he wants praise, but that's just how he is, how to take note of. He not only makes you feel safe, but also not physically but mentally. 2. He steps up when things get tough times without third doubt. He doesn't do things for him to do them, because you owe him. He cares about you. 4. He gives you peace of don't mind confusion at the bottom line. A man who loves you doesn't feel like you're by yourself he is your rock and your safety, the one person you can trust, and the place to always be there for you. And the best thing is that he does it without any pride. Don't need praise because that's who he was, is sign 4 that he cares about you. Sign 4, he treats your independence with respect. Freedom isn't what real love is about. Possession isn't about being in charge. Someone putting limits on them or making them in light of you. A man who really loves you, like St. Thomas Aquinas, knew that love is not about who owns what. It's about helping and cheering up the person you care about while still respecting what Stoicism teaches about the individual way. About being free in love was what the Stoics expected. That each person could take care of themselves Everyone should try to be whole on their own instead of relying on others to finish them unique. One of the most well-known Stoics said it best: "A smart lover doesn't want to own, but to a man who is calm and collected is not scared of how well you did. He doesn't feel shy around you when you shine, grow, or change. In fact, he seems to enjoy it." How this looks in a healthy person he doesn't try to get a relationship with. Take charge of your time with friends or goals instead. He cares about your life. Outside of the friendship too, he tells you to. As a person, he doesn't feel any change. When you do well, he's happy, not scared. Of three of you, he doesn't act out of insecurity. A man with deep roots in Stoic ideals don't need to be in charge. 4. He trusts you and wants you to feel loved. He doesn't expect constant at all. Comfort that he trusts the strength of yours. An example of a bond from Stoic past is the love ruled by Marcus Aurelius. And thank you, Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor and Stoic thinker, was married to Faa the Younger, even though he was ruler, with Marcus admired his great power, and Faa was on the same level as him, but he never tried to beat Faa. To control or put her down instead, he thought of her as a partner, own mind powers, and an up-to-date stern man does the same thing ideas. He doesn't have to prove his dominance by putting limits on you. Instead, he sees love when two people work together and both are. Feel free to grow and thrive the way this looks every day. Love if you want to start a new hobby or job. He tells you to do it instead of making you feel bad. If you spend time when he's with friends, he doesn't see it as a danger. He thinks it's right and good. If you're focused on your own goals, he doesn't try to hurt your feelings for, because he is driven, he looks up to and respects. A man who doesn't feel safe might try to boost your freedom. He may question everything you do. Move that makes you feel bad about putting yourself first or trying to you in the name of love. But a man who really cares about you trusts. He doesn't need to guide you. He knows you love him because to recognize it as one, he backs your goal instead of letting you pick between him and your dreams. 2. He trusts you completely, no matter what games, and not being jealous for no reason. 3. He helps you grow as a person. And 4. He thinks you're as good as him, not as someone he has to take over the bottom line. A man who really, Stoic wisdom says he loves you, doesn't need to make you feel anything, sure that he values your freedom as much as he cares about the relationship, because real love isn't about not keeping someone back. It's about helping them. They saw sign 5. He shows love by doing things. Sign 5. He says he loves you, but he does too. It's not enough to just say, "I love you." These words they're easy to say in the heat of the moment, texted or read out loud endlessly, without any real, a man who loves you deeply. Stoics say that wisdom doesn't just talk about love, he shows. This is what the Stoics say about how to act. Over. In other words, Stoicism is based on the idea that what someone does, not who they are, defines them. Marcus Aurelius, one of the best Stoic thinkers, wrote trash. No more arguing about what a good man should being one. This also goes for love. A man who loves you doesn't just, he really knows how to be a good partner. Every single day through his how to tell if his love is real. He means it when he says he'll be there for you. Does he really show up when things go wrong? Does he stand next to you or leave us now? Does he help you when you need it, or just give it away empty? A man who is calm sees love as he felt responsible, not just like he did, does not think that love is about grand vows, but about being quiet and stoic. Past gives us an example of loyalty. Sergei's dedication to his family. Seneca, a well-known Stoic thinker, didn't just talk about being strong, he was it. When his family and friends went through, He didn't just make empty claims. Instead, he did something and offered advice, help and safety, without doubt. A modern Stoic man does what the same way. He doesn't just tell you, he tells you what you want to hear and then does it. In what he did to back up what he said, like in a friendship, he keeps his word. If he says he'll do something, he will. Does it. Whether he's talking he says he will, or show up when you need him to him, that he values consistency over level of love. He might not flood you with poems or dramatic moves, but his things are steady, and he doesn't make any changes. Why you shouldn't do something important to you, he manages to do it. Happen, he works hard on the bond every day, not just when it's easy to figure out how to spot it. Once he keeps his word, and doesn't leave two that his love will last. Not just passionate highs and lows. 3 shows his dedication by doing small 4 things he does every day, taking charge of his part in the connection at the bottom line. A man who really loves you will, to Stoic knowledge, knows that love is a word, not just a name. It's not enough to say the right things. Always doing the right things. Day 6. He stays even if things go wrong. Sign 6. He stays even when things get tough. When things are hard, anyone can love simple but true love that stands the test of time. Times when things go wrong in life. It's hard when things aren't going as planned. When a man is picture perfect, he's really. Love is tried to find a man who really loves you doesn't. When you see trouble, he stays and fights for you, and he talks things over with. What Stoicism means. Knowledge and patience shows how to be patient in love. Seneca wrote that it would be hard to improve. A tough man's mind works as hard as his body does. Loves someone and doesn't try to avoid them. Problems, it's about how to deal with them. He doesn't fall apart when things go wrong. Get tough, but he stays steady. Honest and dependable. How to detect if he's really there for you when things get tough. Does he stay by your side or pulls away? Himself when there's a fight, does he talk about it and figure it out? Or does he shut down when life hit him hard? Challenges your way. Does he back you up? Or does he get rid of a man who loves you deeply? Can't run when things aren't right. He won't leave you when things get tough. Will have a hard time with you as a Stoic. Past gives us a team model. Marcus Aurelius and his. Marcus Aurelius was a strong ruler. Even though he had to deal with plagues, wars and betrayals, he never changed his mind about what was right. His family and in charge even when things go wrong, times when a modern reserved man comes up. He doesn't let fear get in the way of love. He can't stand worry or doubt. Away, he stays strong and patient, and dedicated no matter what. This looks like in a he doesn't give up on, even when things get tough. When they fight, he doesn't just leave them alone. He'll get through them. Stays the same in times of crisis. Whether it's health problems or money problems or changes in his life that he doesn't understand. Leave you. He backs. He doesn't run away from pain, you know. Instead of avoiding hard things, in talks, he tells them the truth. And kindness. He comes through even when it's being there isn't enough for hard love. In good times, it's up to you to choose to stay, even if it's hard to figure out how to identify it if he doesn't go away. When things get there are hard twos he faces with you. They are 3 things he works on instead of avoiding. Because of disagreements with patience, not number 4, he shows his dedication through his resilience at the base, that a man's true love isn't judged by how he treats you, when everything is, how he treats people shows how great he is. You when things get tough because love isn't about, it's all about ease. Decision 2. This is the kind of love that lasts. Finally, the kind of love that people often think of, lasts love as a storm of feelings, desire, and excitement wanting. But real love is a long way off, less noisy, more stable, and a lot more stronger than any short-lived emotion. A man's true love isn't in grand. It's found in talks or dramatic movements, in the way he lives his life with you, when it's quiet, in the choice he makes. Not just when things are simple, but what's really Stoic advice doesn't teach us that in love, you don't have to give up power. About getting control of yourself in the name of something better. A man who loves you isn't just moved by feeling. He is based on his principles and focus and dedication to being the best at all times. He can be this kind of love partner, not risky or flashy, and not about being proof of something to the world. It is strong, patient, and stable, and the truth is that this is the kind of love that lasts. So are you not sure if someone loves you? His love feels like a storm right now, a mess, and not sure what will happen, or does it feel like an base that is strong, stable, and solid? Because a man who loves you will not do that. Guess, but you won't have to. You'll just know, and that's the love that is worth everything. I'd like to hear from. Have you ever been in love with someone? So, what does real love mean to you? Let's talk about it leave a comment if this video spoke to you. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, because more people should find out what real love looks like. Stay strong until next time, smart, and don't settle for less than what you deserve.